My name is Anita. You can call me Annie Ama. And yeah, I said I was going to tell my project story, everything that happened in my project. So I don't know. I feel today is just a good day to say it, so let me just say it. There are a lot of background to this story, but let me just start from the most relevant to this story, and that is the date that we actually started. I think the list for our project supervisors came out in November of 2022. Yes, between ending of November and early December. I was still in school then. Obviously, a lot of us were still in school, though some people had started traveling for the Christmas break as at early December, but I was in school till like 24th. So within that period, I and my supervisor, God willing, by the mercies of God, was a friend of mine before the project stuff came about. So it was easy for me to communicate with him. I went and I in the process of writing our exams that semester, I read one of our textbooks. I read through it. That was CDR, so we had to read through the whole textbook because it was CBT, and questions to come from anywhere. So I read through it, and in the process of reading, I found out that there was a topic that was discussed. I think cyber security, and I found out that there are a lot of things we don't know. We just talk about Yahoo, fraud, and the rest. We don't know that there are so many other aspects of cybercrime, and I was just so interested in the whole thing. And then in the process of talking to him, trying to figure out stuff, I told him about that topic and I thought about doing it for my project. And the excitement with which I used to talk about it made him, he was like, if I was so excited about it like this, then it would be a good topic for my project and I should go ahead with that topic. So I went ahead with it. He told me some things I should look out for, and I already had things in my head that I had drafted out already while reading, and I was interested in the topic, like I said. So that was my starting point, guys. From December, I had planned I would use that period of holiday, just the few weeks, to do chapter 1 and 2, so that when I resume, that I will not have so much work to do. I'll just use the entire semester to be gathering, what I'll do. Initially, I was supposed to do content analysis and survey, so I knew that there was a lot of work to do in terms of gathering data. So I needed to finish chapter 1 to 3 so that I can use the entire second or first semester to do. Am I missing information now? But anyways, yeah, I wanted to use the entire time during school to be gathering my data, so I needed to finish that part during the holiday period, during the break period. So anyways, that was not possible. That did not happen. And I was still okay. There was now election break, February, and I was like, okay, that will be my opportunity to do chapter 1 to 3, and I'll be able to finish. So when I come back to school during second semester, what I'll just be doing is gathering of data, analysis, and conclusion. Guys, it didn't work the way I thought it will go. But anyways, before we get to that point, January, I think I submitted the first draft of that topic, cybercrime. It was something about the coverage of cybercrime in Nigerian newspapers, and then its influence on students, UNS students. So that was the survey aspect to it, and then the content analysis aspect was the coverage. So the first goal that I submitted, that's my first chapter 1 draft, was rejected. My supervisor did not even collect it. He just flipped through the page. I was like, I have not done anything that should go back and add flair that this is too scanty. Oh my god, that was when it dawned on me that it's not about excitement, guys. So I went back, I put in the work, I now used the textbook, got other information, because he told me that I should talk about Yahoo, talk about what everybody knows. And the angle I was coming from was, no, I wanted to go for the parts that people do not really know, but of course you have to start from the known to the unknown, right? So I brought the second one a lot better, not a lot better, but to me a lot better. And he wrote some things. Maybe I'll show it in the video. He wrote some things and told me what to add and all. At this point, I was already tired and frustrated. I had lost all the vibe and energy I had in this topic. Like, guys, I was already discouraged, and so everything was going slow. School became serious. Projects, productions, exams. I was also holding responsibility in fellowship, so everything was happening so fast, and I was already overwhelmed. And I had to package the project, guys. I packaged it and kept one side. Not be me and them. So I was not having the vibe, and I'm someone that if I have an inspiration to do something, I do it like with the spirit of it. Once that spirit is not there, it's going to be a struggle. So that's what was happening to me at that time. I didn't have the spirit. There was no. There were times I sat hours thinking on the project, looking at stuff, nothing. So I just had to let it be. And then okay, I think when I submitted the second chapter one, that was when he corrected, and then he gave me and told me to start chapter two while also correcting the chapter one. Now I was to do my chapter two and submit before correcting my chapter one. That was what I had in mind, guys. I never did chapter two. I never did that chapter two. That was the point where I got overwhelmed and I just dropped everything. Even the chapter one correction, I dropped it. So by the time yes, I had a period that I was no longer inspired and all. I got busy, and then I kept the project on hold. So now this was close to exam time, second semester, and I had not made any progress since December, November, before we went that final year. First semester passed, no progress. Second semester had started, and we're approaching final exams, and no progress. And it was beginning to dawn on me that this thing is not a joke, guy. So I had to talk to God. I took some time. Well, I can remember one morning, I can't remember what day that was, but I was to go to school. But before I went to school, I just stayed at home and I prayed. I remember walking around, pacing around my room, praying and making declarations over my academics, over my project, over, the things that were concerned, that were a source of concern, source of worry to me at the time. I made declarations over them, and I can remember saying that I would do a project topic that would be interesting and that my project would be publishable, and like everything about my project would be beautiful, that it would not be something that would be done haphazardly because of no time, that it would be perfect, to be excellent, and all of those things. I spoke about my exams, and everything was happening fast, guys, like I said. So I needed to decree over those things, and God is good. So everything started working according to the declarations that I made, except my project, guys. So my school work, project, productions, exams, even my responsibility internship, everything was going fast, smoothly. July, if you guys are in my life, you know that July was a month for me. Everything was so yes, that was the period. Those period were answers to my prayers. And then the project stuff came again. So during those period, I had block of inspirations and all of that. I stopped going to see my supervisor. I used to avoid him like a plague. One of the days he saw me on the road and said, "Anita, you have been avoiding me like a plague." And I said, "Yes, I apologize." So yes, I was avoiding him. I felt like I was disappointing him. I felt, like I was not doing what I should do. Every time you tell me, "This is not you. Why are you? What's going on? What's the matter?" He was always concerned, and I was just like, I didn't know what to say, because I just felt that I should have been doing better, and I was not doing better. A lot of people had everything to say, but I could not factor. I could not read. They were not answering the problem I was having at the time. So yeah, so that was it. So during this period, after the exams and all, I was having more time, like a lot of responsibilities were falling off from me. So I was now having time to focus on my project, and now it was already time, like everybody were already anticipating that there was someone supposed to start submitting project, and guys, I was still struggling with starting chapter 2 of that my topic. So after a while, I made outline for the chapter 2. I said, funny enough, during all this period that I was having block, I was guiding other people on their projects. So funny. So yes, I was telling other people what to do, and my own was stuck. I remember posting about it one time, and a friend of mine, himself, was telling me that I was being a perfectionist, that no matter how bad I feel that I don't have ideas, I should start from somewhere that's, And then my supervisor always used to tell me that a bad work can be corrected, but if there's nothing to correct, then there's no way to make progress and all of that. So I get where he was coming from, but at the same time, it was not really me being a perfectionist. It was just that nothing was moving in that line. But anyways, I'm looking down. I just made a note so that I don't have to forget any information. And yes, so that period I had to go back and report myself to my supervisor, and I told him that whatever fire he would put on me, I will accept it. Funny enough, he did not put any fire on me, guys. He was just encouraging me. Sometimes he allowed us to work at our pace. I thank God for him though. Yeah, he didn't really put any pressure on me. But at the point, he even got worried and was like, "Are you sure you will finish before time?" I was like, "Sir, no worries." So I'm coming to this part. So in the midst of all this, because I was helping other people do their project, nobody believed that I was stuck on my project. When I tell people that I'll see chapter 1 and my chapter 1 is not even correct, I need to still correct, they will not believe me. They'll be like, you don't read chapter 5. I'm like, guy, and me, I was always having people like chapter 6 girl, chapter 6 boy, you sure you're done now? Nobody would understand that mine was stuck. So while all of those things were happening, I had the confidence that my prayers were answered, and I was making declarations and affirmation in that line. So whenever someone will ask me, are you really sure you can make, like people that were close to me that knew that actually I was stuck, they will ask me, are you sure you can still work on it, that you need to this, you need to that time and all. I'll be like, don't worry, I go run now. There was just this confidence in me that I go run them, I go run them. And these things that I study, I mean, they were, I used to say it, I keep saying it. If I survived studying, nothing, you finish me again. So yes, I was always saying I would run them. I didn't know how, but I knew that I was going to finish. So that one passed. Guess what? Our date for submission and defense actually was 17th of August. Yes, and 2 weeks before that date, I went to see my supervisor, so I was still stuck in chapter 2. But you know, at least if I can make progress in chapter 2, chapter 3, I believe at this point I'd already removed the content analysis and said, the survey, and said I was focused on content analysis, so that because there was no time. So I'd already removed my mind from that, and I was like, okay, if I can just get chapter 2 done with, I know that once I put my mind to something, I can finish it on time. So gathering my data will not be a problem. And I was planning to analyze it myself. So all these other external factors that would have cost me stress and time, I was already saying no, that's not a problem. For me, I can do all those things. I don't mind staying up all night doing it, but if I can get through chapter 2, that was it. And then 2 weeks before the defense, I went to my professor and he was like, since I'm not making progress, all the other times when I see him, he'd be like, do I want to change? I'd be like, I don't know what to change to. This is also somebody suggested, but this, that, we look about it and say no. But on this day, he didn't even give me an opportunity to talk about anything. He just told me, Anita, you will change this topic since you're not making progress. He was not even like imposing on me, he was still making a suggestion, but I was like, at this point I'm already tired, I don't know what to do, so whatever you say, sir. So he just brought out some projects and he was looking through it, and then he brought one and he showed me and he was like, do you like to do something on this? Guys, guess what it was? Politics. The one topic I was running away from. I didn't want to do it because one, I know everybody would do something about it. Most people would do something on politics. Two, I'm not interested in politics. I don't like Nigerian news. I'm not here for the news, guys. I'm not here for the news. Take note. Those people that think I'm a journalist, well, doesn't mean I can't do it, but that's not my focus. Anyways, so I was just like, I thought about it. Well, it's easier for me compared to this one, getting materials and all of it. So I took it, but I didn't accept it entirely. I remember the prayers I made, and I was just asking God, what is your will concerning this topic? Should I change or should I continue? What exactly should I do? I was still, thinking about it when I went home, talked to my friends about it. So they were like, will I change that? It's better I continue what I've already started. This one, that one. I was like, these guys don't understand. Even my chapter 1 was not even a thing. So there was no progress. It's just as if I had not started for that topic. So it's still the same to whether I started again or not. Anyways, I don't want this video to be too long, so let me just go straight to the point. So yes, after I think 2 days or 3, I had the peace to move on and change the topic. I remember the prayers I made, and I felt like God was just helping me, aligning my steps towards the fulfillment of these prayers. So yes, I changed my topic 2 weeks before defense. And how funny! What you cannot do in 6 months. How do you want to do it in 2 weeks, guy? But anyways, so after I changed my topic, I did chapter 1 under like 2 or 3 days. I was supposed to do it in 2 days, but yeah, I think there was a delay, and then I submitted the 3rd day or something, and well, sorry about the noise. I'm doing this in my corridor, so there's bike passing and all of that. So anyways, I did that, and then I already timed myself how long each of the chapters should take, and that will be able to meet up with that 2 weeks deadline. And I had the next 3 days to do my chapter 2. Guys, I was stuck again. That was when I realized that I had a fear of chapter 2. I had a fear that was holding me back and not allowing me to move forward. I have to now address it in prayers too. I addressed it in prayers, I addressed it in affirmations, and I spoke to myself. I speak to myself a lot. But yeah, I had to tell myself that this fear will not take me anywhere, and there's really nothing to be scared of. Whatever you've put your heart to do so far, you've achieved it. So why can't you just put your heart to this and you can do it? So at this point, imagine that I was teaching other people before, but when it got to my own turn, I was not doing what I was teaching them. So I had to start asking my friends that had done chapter 2 how they did it, what they did. I remember that day I was going to school, I just called this person, I called Treasurer, I called Claire. They explained what they did, how they went about it, how they started. I just wanted to encourage myself actually. So thank God they gave me all the directions I needed. I consulted, thank God for a friend of Claire, who is also my friend. But yeah, I started talking to him better when I knew he was a friend to Claire. And I was there one day when he was teaching Claire, and there was something he said I picked, so I decided to use some of his guidance. I consulted ChatGPT. I didn't consult it to do my project, guys. I consulted it to give me guidance. That's what he told us, that we don't use it to do our work for us. We use it to help our work easier, make our work easier. So yeah, I made an outline, like I had a mental outline, and then I asked ChatGPT structures for, I gave it some questions, and then in the process of it answering, I was able to draft out an actual outline for my work, and then I now downloaded journals in line with those outlines that I made. Now, start going through those journals and bringing out the points you need. That was another block. But after that day that I spoke to my friend, then there was light issues that period. I didn't have light in my house. I was always taking my things everywhere to charge. Well, all those things happened. I finally sat down one day in Treasure's room. She was going out when I came, but there was light in my room, so I stayed. And I remember I prayed that day, and I just spoke to myself, and then I started. And before she came back, I had gone far. I'd not gone far, but I'd actually gone through like about 5 or 6 journals, and the progress I was making was encouraging to me. I had over 20 something journals to go through, so this was not really a big stuff, but just the fact that I was moving, I had started, and then I was getting an idea. When you start to do something, you get a better understanding of it and all. So yeah, I started doing it, and I came back home, continued all of that, and yes. So I was able to get out all the points. So what I was doing that period was basically just going through each journal, picking out what I think would be necessary from the journal to my work, and I just picked it and pasted it. So I was not really working, I was just picking out points. It was work. It took me days to go through all those journals. But yes, so when I finished, I came back to my work, arranged it, added my words, paraphrased, did what I needed to do. Basically, I did all those stuff, and I submitted chapter 2. There was so much joy in my heart. Even my supervisor could feel it. Everybody around me could feel it. I was so excited. I was like, I've done chapter 2. It was like the biggest achievement of the time for me. And my supervisor was like, you're smiling. It's been a long time I've seen you smile. I was like, sir, I did it. I overcame the fear. I was hearing your voice when I was doing this work. How you used to tell me that a bad work can be corrected, but if there was no work to correct, blah, blah, blah. I used to tell me that I can do it, that I should aim for A, that I should aim to do it by myself. We should not look for people to do. And all of those things. I was like, sir, I did it. I remember that time when I was frustrated. I was telling my supervisor one time that, so I'm tempted to pay someone to do this work for me because it's not moving and I don't know what else to do. And then I was so happy that at that point I did it myself. For me, nothing else. Chapter 35 was nothing to me. I just wanted to do this chapter 1 and 2. And so yes, there was obvious. I even told him that there's going to be corrections, but at least I've done it. I overcome my fear. So yeah, there were corrections. My conceptual review was good, but my empirical review was not done rightly. So he corrected me, told me to add more information, blah blah blah. I went back and I did it, and I beat my target again. Thank you. I submitted. Every time I was so excited whenever I set the target and I meet it. Remember that I had days to work with now. So I was now also in this period the defense was moved. So they were like, we'll not defend on 17th, but we'll start submission from 17th to about 22nd and then defend on 29th. So I was looking at like start 2 weeks and some days. So that was it for that. So that was my breakthrough period, and I was always happy that period. Every time I beat my targets, people who are friends with me will know because I always say it on my WhatsApp status. Now this was another point where I became anxious when I got to chapter 3. My chapter 3 did not even take me much time. I did it under a night or so. I submitted chapter 2 and 3 at the same time, and then my supervisor helped me because my objectives were not good. So we worked on my objective and then my questionnaire. So immediately the next day I brought a question, he typed questionnaire, he approved it. I went on to set up my Google documents, right? Google form. Yes. And yeah, I started distributing. In my mind, guys, I have contacts of a lot of people in mass communication, in my fellowship, in UNEC, due to fellowship and all that stuff. And then other random people I've met in school in UNN, and I was like, since my population is UNN, my questionnaire will not be difficult to reach. I have 381 according to the calculator I use, a student calculator, to fill 381, right? Or so, to fill my questionnaire, and I was like, I can beat this in. I think this thing was happening on Thursday, so I was like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I should be done collecting responses, at least 100 every day. Guys, sometimes my status, I get over 120 something views. So I was like, if everybody on my status, okay, not everybody on my status is a UNN student, but if all the people who view my status in a day view my link, I should be getting over 50, 70, responses per day. Then highest, and then share to their friends. Each person gets 3 people. Guys, I'm going to be done in 3 days. It wasn't so. It wasn't so. And I was always, oh my god, this thing is not moving. Oh my god, this is how difficult it is. I thought I had contact and all of that. I was already getting frustrated. Saturday, Sunday, I was still 100, and I was like, God, what is this? Some of my friends started feeling over and over again for me. Yes, I contacted people at UNEC, contacted people in my fellowship, people that I knew that would be able to reach out to other people. So I was using a snowball sampling technique, and what it entails is that you reach people through other people. So I was basically doing that. And yes, well, long story cut short, my supervisor and I later worked on the sample size, and using another Comrie and Leeds guide, I was able to use the sample size of 300 and justify it. So I was able to get up to 300, and just at the moment where I was filling the last form, somebody else now filled, so I had 301. So now I had to tell the analyst to reduce. So at this point, I had few days to the final day of submission, and I did not have the time to analyze myself again. So I had to contact a friend of mine who is a statistician, and she was the one that helped me to analyze. So I remember when I called on my way to go and see my supervisor, and I was like, I want to give you this thing today, and I'll get it tomorrow. Is it possible? Shout out to you, Glory. And she was like, okay, she has other works, but because of me, this and that one, I don't have money, guys. So all these things, I was just working with faith though. But anyways, that passed. She was really helpful. Even at the times when I was getting, she would just tell me, be still and know that I am God. Be calm, don't shout, don't this, don't that. People were just telling me, this, my own statistician, this, will you do this, that. I was anxious, guys, and anxiety was taking a better part of me. But somewhere in my spirit, I always hear, be calm, don't say anything, be calm, and all of that. And thank God, I can remember that day we were in my supervisor's office, and he was addressing everybody, and I was just seeing how they were making progress. All of them were in chapter 4, chapter 5, and I was still here waiting for my analyst. And the day is drawing closer, and oh my God, I was just under pressure. My clothes with the tailor was not even ready. Let's not even go to that part. Let's focus on this project. But so everything around me was just I was giving my best. But now that I had to work with external factors, they were just, what is going on? But anyways, so I remember that day I stepped out of my supervisor's office and I went to the corridor. It was evening, so a lot of people had gone home. And I just started praying. I started speaking in tongues there, and I started declaring again. I started declaring that everything was going to work to my favor, everything was going to work to my favor. I started making declaration. I started calling for the forces of nature to influence every other external factors that affecting me, to make it them work in my favor and all those stuff. Guys, crazy. But yes, I did that, and immediately everything was just as if everything spinning for my good. Like, so things started working. It's no magic, guys. God is good. So yes, that was it. There was progress in that one, and then I did my chapter 4. Like, there were some parts that she missed out in the analysis, so I had to do that. And then my chapter 5, I did my chapter 5. I think I can't even tell the entire story. So, but then a lot of things happened though, and my supervisor was to travel. He was not around for our defense. So he had to move his travel because of me and a few others, and then I had to see him again on Friday. This defense was now to happen on Tuesday, 29th, and then this is Friday. I hadn't submitted my project. I was supposed to submit it latest Tuesday that week. I was hoping to submit Friday that week, but unfortunately, as of Thursday, I was not ready. My chapter 4 was not even ready. So it was later that evening that my chapter 4 came in. So I started working on it. Friday, I worked on my chapter. I sent it to my supervisor. He gave me corrections. Then by weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I was able to work on 4 and 5. And I remember my supervisor was not going to be around on Monday. Obviously, he traveled and then stayed at home. And then Tuesday was the day of defense. So now I was all to myself. He had corrected my 1 to 3 on Friday before leaving. And then my chapter 4 arrived that evening, so I also sent it to him. Then weekend I used it to work on on the other one. So he later came back on Monday for our sake because he was not going to be around for the defense. So he came back, and then we were able to see him for the last time to do a mock defense with him. Then that was when other people were coming for final approval, abstract and signing. Yeah, so me I was coming for correcting my chapter 4 and 5 a day to my defense. So yes, he read through. He was like, I like your chapter 4, I like your chapter 5, it's good. Made certain corrections here and there. I went home, effected it, printed it out. Then on Tuesday morning, I came with my friends. There's so much story to tell, but anyways, I submitted the morning of my defense, guys. Yes, I submitted the morning of my defense. Thank God for everything. Everything was in my favor. And then, given the fact that I submitted the morning of my defense on my panel, I was the last person on the list. So there was every chance that I was not going to defend that day. There were 2 days for defense, Tuesday and Wednesday, but we wanted to do on the first day. So I really didn't want to go home with my clothes and come back with it the next day, or we'll have to wear something else. I just wanted to defend once and for all. And so I made that prayer. And funny enough, I don't know how, we're still going. Then they went on a break, and we're still many that had not done. So I think they started becoming slow when a particular person entered and there was a lot of problem with their work, something. So now they were putting eyes on people's work and all. I was not afraid of that. My own is I just want to do today. One, I'm last on the list. 2, I submitted today. They might not get to my own stuff on time. So anyways, at the end of the day, I was, when they came up from their break, they had to call like the last, I think 5 or 6 more people to make it 15, and then send the remaining 10 to come back the next day. My name was there. Now I didn't even testify about my panel. My panel had all my friends in it. I know that at least I'm friends to like most of the lecturers, not like close friends, but at least if they see me, they can recognize that this girl, a good child. So anyways, but my panel were my friends, so I don't even know what to say there. But God was just working everything to my favor. The prayer was working. So now at this point, I just wanted to make sure I did that day, and then my name was called. Thank God, I now knew that I was going to do that day. Then I started, everything that they were saying, people that were coming out, so I was like, let me just go and do what I can do, and then let God finish what He has started. So I went in, and they asked me to summarize my work. I did. Then they picked up for that my sampling technique, because it was not something that was taught in my department. I just went online and I used it, and then I explained it. No much correction in my work, just typographical errors and formatting errors, like where I'm supposed to use single line spacing, but I use double line spacing. Those are the major things. And then capital letters I'm supposed to put in small letters. Those were the kind of things. So yes, and then I went to my supervisor after. We had, you guys saw now, we had lunch, my supervisor, and all of that. And then he was now later telling me the last time I went to his office that they commended my presentation. Sorry about the break in communication. So yeah, my presentation was commended, and there are other people that were in this story that I forgot to thank, and a lot of them were very instrumental. One family is RCFUNN. They were very instrumental. I thank Victor Effa, the president. He helped me to reach out to a lot of people, and special thanks to Madmer Progress, the lady on the pink buba and wrapper, such a pretty lady. She actually left her laptop for me throughout the time of my project. I truly appreciate you. My girls were not left out. They were always there giving all their advices and all their support, and even during the time for preparation towards our defense, they were always around. I can't even start to thank everybody. There's Innocent, there's Ada, my lovely people. I'm really grateful, guys. Much love. Mwah.